It's July, and right now Rooster Teeth has gone into full swing for their RTX convention, with a host of stuff going on for those lucky gits present. One such event was yesterday's RWBY panel. We saw cosplays, the big reveals of the fan-made game Grim Eclipse now brought in and funded by the company as an official game, and Warner Bros. Japan making an official professional Japanese dub for the show. We had questions, plushy sex between Yang and Blake, and of course the first episode of the next chapter of the show. But the panel ended on the topic for this video, the trailer for RWBY Volume 2. This is going to be me analysing the trailer's content and my speculation on what it means and what might be coming our way on June the 24th, when the online world gets to see firsthand. So 1. Don't watch this if you're avoiding spoilers for the first volume of the show. Also, please don't throw out spoilers of the first episode for the Volume 2 if you are at the panel, since I and many others have not seen it yet. And of course, this is just me speculating. Nothing is concrete or for certain. A lot of this footage could easily be changed by the time the complete episodes are out, and I'm just shooting at whatever I see here. With that being said, let's begin. First thing of note is that Beacon looks rather drab and greyed out. Much of the bright, colourful fields and fauna aren't present in favour of rocks and a handful of aircraft, though we do see some people making their way down the paths. So, could the Academy be in the winter state of its time, or has it been scarred by attacks? Moving on inside, we've come to Ospin's office, and some very tense discussion between the headmaster and this white-suited man who seems to be questioning our hero's calibre to handle themselves for what seems to be a very heated fight. Judging by his attire and shots of him later on next to robots similar to those on the Schnee train in Blake's trailer, he seems linked to the Schnees. He could very well be Weiss's dad, or a major player in the company. Whoever he is, it seems like Ospin doesn't share his sentiments and doubting his students' skills, rather hoping for such need for them in the war will not be needed. Since we see the man I'll dub Mr. White for now doubting the Beacon students, and then later on at an event, he's looking to reveal some new stronger robots into the fold, perhaps he's trying to make a point that his mechanical fighters might be better hunters and huntresses than the students themselves. And who are they going to be targeting? Be they Grim or more than likely the White Fang, it looks like there's going to be a three-way battle for supremacy between the Beacon students, Cinder's group with the White Fang, and this faction. Ospin, as mentioned, doesn't seem to want his students in a war right now either way. As he hints later on, he seems to want them to enjoy being young and carefree for as long as possible. But to Blake and the others of Team RWBY, they seem very aware of an incoming fight on their hands. Blake especially feeling the pressure and Fred feeling like they need to get ready and prepare. This might explain some things that we see later on though. Not just chatter from the good guys is shown, but on the bad side too. Cinder and Roman look to be in very deep discussion, with Roman seemingly querying Cinder about something, though to what end it's not known, with Cinder being very tight-lipped. RWBY is quite excited for the next semester though, as we pan into a shot of Weiss being seemingly flirted with by Jean again, and then into a dance as part of the Vital Festival. Could Jean be trying to ask out Weiss? We know one important guess though. Emerald looks to be having a nice slow dance with someone in a quick shot before we get some Arcos fun. Jean's looking rather dapper I must say, but Pyrrha definitely steals the show with a killer red dress, though she's sporting a very sullen look. A chance for Jean to pick up her mood? Or is Jean the cause of the depressed redhead? The mood does pick up though as we see Team RWBY start to gear up. Interesting point though is the attires. RWBY, while putting on her boots, looks to have a very different top on, judging by the sleeves. RWBY's usual attire has red frills on the end of black sleeves, but here it's big white cuffs. Weiss looks different too, as when she's sporting Mightonasta, she's wearing a white button-up jacket. Blake has a white dress shirt on as she sorts out her black ribbons, and we see a sneak peek of Yang's different attire that we'll see later on in the preview, as her gauntlets gear up too. While they could be getting more dapper looking for the dance, the presence of their weapons and Yang's more unique design could mean a very different attire for some battles or covert action, perhaps during some stealth moments. It looks like there's some fun going on though, as Queen of the Castle Nora is on top of a makeshift table fort in the dining hall with her teammates. I'll come back to this later, but if you want some info, people like grapes. Mr. White, however, seems to be liking his new toys. stronger looking white robots shown at some public event, possibly a show of force in the public eye to any incoming threat, and to show off his claims of perhaps being a force stronger than the Beacon students? Again, question is, who are these mechs for? The white Fang looks to be preparing themselves for something big, as Torchwick leads a rallying cry in front of a large army, before we see he's packing a giant frickin' ass mech himself. It's not just the mech being revealed though, but some interesting members of the gang. To the left of Torchwick we see a new female member, possibly the maker of the mech, or just part of Roman's crew. As well as to the right of the crowd there's a group of people not in the white Fang uniform. There's one dude here with horns on his head, and while this might be just someone standing in front of him, could this be a Faunus too? Why are they not in the army uniform? We also see a blonde guy with just the mask on but no uniform, and a redhead member without the hood. Could be just some unfinished models though, but it's an interesting thing to catch. Shown in a much closer shot though is a rather uniquely designed member of the White Fang. He could possibly be a major player of the group, a head grunt, or in fact maybe the leader of the group before signing up with Cinder's faction. After a nice kick from Mercury, who's now being revealed to be voiced by JJ, who does some of the live action content for Rooster Teeth like the RT recap, we see some hardcore parkour from RWBY while chasing after Penny. This is definitely interesting as after the end of Volume 1, RWBY hasn't seen Penny since she went brutal on Torchwick's men at the harbour and vanished with Mr. White's group. Here we see her running and then RWBY snatching her away. So could Penny be possibly trying to avoid RWBY? She was told her time would come and she said that she was going to be fighting in the tournament where she was bound to meet RWBY anyway, so why would she be trying to avoid her friend? My guess is perhaps her group has demanded her to do so to avoid her secret becoming public knowledge, or to keep her in line, but at least she does aid RWBY in stopping her from becoming roadkill. Another mystery to be solved for sure. Quick shot of Pyrrha dealing with Mercury before we get a better shot of Yang's new attire. It's very stylish and still having a butt cape, though it's purple this time. Whatever the reason is for the new wardrobe, it seems she's not exactly a welcome guest back at Junior's club. Going by this, we can assume that the events in her trailer took place before this, thus explaining the warm welcome. Could Yang have gone back to the club remembering seeing Junior talk to Torchwick and want some new info? Mercury and Emerald look to be on the hunt themselves, visiting this Faunus and his bookshop. Instantly, the dude reminds me of Sabretooth from the X-Men Origins Wolverine film. Perhaps this is the two searching for info themselves, or more numbers to the cause. Though whatever it is, it looks like the man doesn't approve either way. We get a nice shot of Roman being a little bit cheeky with Cinder, and then ROAD BATTLE! Looks like it's during the volume's big fight as we see the mech fight Sun and Blake on the motorway, Yang and Neptune fighting on the Bumblebee, and then the whole of Team RWBY taking it on within seemingly the same night, judging by the sky. Though we do see Yang fight the mech in both her attires, so that might not be the case. Speaking of Yang, she goes for a patented ground-smashing fist, but we see under her at one point something that looks like Vice. We don't see her when Yang makes contact, but my guess is the two team up, with Yang smashing down causing some debris impact with Vice's glyphs. It might be the cause for the fog that's seen later on. The fighting with the mech isn't limited to the roads though, as we see it storming alongside Blake and Sun through Vale, and even some Grim making an appearance. From that we see the RWBY girls in action, as Blake goes full mystic art on some foes. Though the keynote here is during the battle, it looks like she's without a bow, as her Faunus ears are on full display. Pyrrha and Cardin are in conflict too, though seemingly as part of the tournament, judging by the same locale as her fight with Mercury. It's Neptune's time to shine now though. The blue-haired member of Sun's team was revealed at the panel to be voiced by Kerry, part of the writing team for the show. I initially thought it might have been Gavin due to the techie look to him, possibly hinting to Gavin's snowmobile guy's work and his tech knowledge, and his familiarity and partnership with fellow achievement hunter Michael being the voice for Sun, but that's obviously not the case. Neptune does reveal something himself though with his weapon. It looks to be some sort of dust-powered electricity gun, though whether or not this is the only form it has, we won't know until the reveal. Then the last shot before the title is RWBY holding a seemingly KO'd or hurt Weiss, which I'm sure is prime for the White Rose fans to enjoy. Though while it does seem like this could be a very serious, sad moment, I wanna take a guess that this could play back into that scene with Team Juniper and the Table Fort. First, Ruby and Weiss are in their school attire, as was the Juniper lot. All four of them look very stereotypically serious on top of their mighty home base in the hall. And all of this could lead into Ruby's previously mentioned exciting plans before the second semester starts. A Team Ruby versus Team Juniper play fight in the hall. I just feel that the shot of Ruby and Weiss seems a little bit too cheesy, though I could easily be wrong. I mean, Weiss doesn't look very damaged, nor does Ruby, and the dining hall was already a mess, so the toppling tower could easily just be something like Nora going OTT again, and then leading into the shot of Ospin and Glinda watching over the four girls chuckle away. I could be wrong, but I think it's just Monty and the gang teasing us, and especially the shipping community. We end the trailer with the girls possibly confusing the giant mech with the fog from the previously mentioned Yang and Weiss team up, and then epic team pose, and that's that. So that was my analysis of the RWBY Volume 2 trailer, and I am super hyped. I've been a big fan of this series despite some of its faults, and the trailer did not stop my hype for the next part of this story at all. Obviously some stuff in the trailer is still work in progress and not the final smoothed out product, and some worries I have about only Blake seemingly being the one thinking it's time to prepare for a big fight will obviously make more sense in context, but despite this, the 24th can't come soon enough. It is interesting though that there was still no sign of Adam, nor any sign of the rest of Sun's team, or any sign at all of Velvet's team, though according to Monty we do get a little bit of information that team acronym links to coffee? Either way, till then let the hype continue. If you have anything you want to say about my speculations, you have your own speculations, or whatever, you can comment of course down below, but please remember about spoilers. The 24th of July can't come soon enough, so till then, take care.